Hey y'all, this is Dan Vis over at Fast Missions, and today I want to share with you an update on our big breakthrough goal for 2021 of building an off-grid cabin. Some of you have been asking about how that's coming along, so today you get to hear all the latest. Stay tuned. In my very first YouTube video on January 1 of this year, if you remember, I shared a bit about the importance of aiming for breakthroughs in your life. If you want to see real change in your life, just doing the same old isn't going to create radical transformation. Or even just doing a bit more of the same or doing the same, but maybe just a bit better. No, real change is the result of breakthroughs. Sometimes you just need to do something different, something radical. And I gave an example of something I'm aiming at in my life this year. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, to have a little getaway cabin on a piece of remote property, just in case you need it for some reason, or even just to, get away for a while and have a little retreat, a few days alone out there in nature with God. But the fact is, while I've wanted to do something like this for years, I've never even really taken the first steps toward it. And unless I start taking some steps, 2021 is going to go into the dustbin of history, just like all those other years, and I won't have made any more progress this year either. So I need to do something different. I need a breakthrough. Now, your breakthrough may be something completely different. I'm not encouraging anyone to aim for the exact same things I'm aiming for. But I do want to use this as an illustration, right, of how to achieve real breakthroughs in our life. For me personally, I've got a number of breakthroughs that I've identified that I want to pursue in 2021. A small number, like 3 or 4. And this is just one of them, but it's one I want to talk about today. So once you've identified your breakthrough area, the question is, what do you do next? So here's the key to achieving a breakthrough in your life. It's pretty simple, actually. You have to have a strategic plan. You have to identify the key steps it will take to get from point A to point B, and then chart a path through those steps. For my little dream cabin, there's several steps that have to happen. I've been researching this for a while now, just some preliminary kind of research, but enough to settle on a basic 4-step process. And I'm going to share that with you today. It's very simple, very basic, and yes, it's subject to change, but it's a direction. Enough information at least to get me started, and that's the real key. Having a direction, having a plan of action. Now, the way I came up with this plan was to think backwards. I've got a pretty clear vision of where I want to be at the end of this process. Now, I may not finish this year, though it's kind of what I'm working towards, but regardless, I just think back from that end goal to the steps along the way I need to take to get there. For example, to build my final dream cabin, right? I need to first find and purchase some land, some place that's remote, off-grid, with woods on it, with water. I got my whole little list of things I'm looking for. But the point is, this has to come first. You can't build a cabin without first having some land to build it on. Now, if that land is off-grid, then I need some kind of portable living space, like an RV or something like that, that I can stay in while I'm getting the cabin built. But it also needs to be something I can use to haul lumber and tools and supplies out to the site. And it needs to be on the cheap side, so I can save as much money as possible for the actual land and eventually on the cabin. So to get the exact functionality I need, I'm currently looking at doing a custom conversion project on some older cargo van or box truck, something like that. So that brings us now 2 steps back. Building the cabin is step 4, the end goal. To get there, I need to find and buy some land, step 3. And to help me get to that land and really use it, I need to start working on remodeling a cheap van or box truck. And then to do that van conversion, I'm going to need some tools and a workspace. I'm not really much of a handyman, and I don't have a lot of tools or a real workshop, but I do have a garage that we're kind of just using right now to store junk in. But it's actually big enough, and with a bit of remodeling, I should be able to squeeze a small workshop into it. And this step is something I can actually start on right now. So that's step 1, getting my garage all cleaned up, organized, outfitted to make a small workshop. Step 2, finding a van or box truck that's going to meet my exact needs for this, and then do that conversion process. Step 3, spend some time looking for and buying the exact right piece of land. And because these properties are almost certainly going to be at a distance from my house, having that camper van is also going to help make it really easy to travel there, see? And then step 4, finally, once these other steps are all complete, I should be well positioned to begin building the actual cabin. I'll have the land, I can park my van out there, stay in it while I'm working, use it to power my tools, and so on. So here's that strategic plan once again. See, this plan breaks my big goal down into smaller goals, so I know just what to do at each step in the process, which makes everything a whole lot easier because I only have to focus on one thing at a time. Right now, all I have to really worry about is one thing, getting my garage done. Once that's finished, then I move on to the next step, and so on. And if I just stick with it, I'll hopefully be out there in my dream cabin here before you know it. Now, I should also point out that the way to achieve each of these smaller goals is exactly the same. You break them down into individual steps and start knocking those out one by one. To get my shop set up, I had to create a plan for that. And that involved all kinds of details. But I just kept working at it one little bit at a time. And yes, it's taken a few weeks. I'm just working at it now and then as I'm able to, but I've pretty much got that step knocked out. And in an upcoming video, I'm going to show you exactly how that whole process went. Should be kind of a fun time together. I'm currently pretty deep into step 2. I've done quite a bit of research. I've figured out exactly what I'm looking for. I've traveled around looking at different options, praying, asking God to give us just the right vehicle for our needs, and hopefully I'll have news on that coming soon too. And while I'm not quite there yet, I've also already started sketching out plans for steps 3 and 4, doing research here and there and formulating more detailed strategies for each of those steps. The whole thing's not going to be easy, but I'm making progress, right? My shop's just about done. I'm hoping to finalize on a van, maybe even as soon as this week. And I'm super excited about moving fully into phase 2 and doing that rebuild. Once that's ready, I'll start zooming in on the property hunt and then eventually start on the cabin. It's all just one step at a time. So that's the basic process. Once you have identified the breakthrough you want to achieve, you have to put together a strategic plan. To do that, think backwards. Start with your end goal and then think back step by step through exactly what you'll need to accomplish to get there. And then once you have your plan, you start working forward, knocking out each task one step at a time in the exact order you need to reach your end goal. And then it's just a question of staying on track. Now, you can always tweak and fine-tune your plan or even make changes as you go along, but having at least a good tentative plan is critical to getting started. And that's really the most important part. Like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles always begins with your very first step. So what's your breakthrough goal? And perhaps more importantly, what's your plan to achieve that breakthrough? And perhaps most important right now, what's your first step or your next step? Well, I'll close with that. And I promise to share a video soon about the little shop we've squeezed into our garage. And I'll keep you posted as we buy our van and start going through the rebuild process. If you'd like to help donate towards this project, that'd be super awesome. I'll put a link down in the description specifically for the van purchase and the rebuild. And for that matter, if you have some remote land you might be interested in subdividing or maybe even donating to our little nonprofit, please reach out. That link is fast.st/offgrid. Thanks so much in advance for any help you can give. Until next time, a quick shout out to our FAST community. Thanks so much for all your encouragement and support that's helped to make this kind of project even possible in the first place. Love and prayers back to each one of you. And if you're new to FAST, come join our community, fastmissions.com. It just takes seconds to join, and it's free. We're constantly putting up super helpful new resources all the time to help you grow in your personal discipleship, to help you climb higher in your walk with God. I'll put a link to our main site down in the description. So in closing, I just want to wish you a great week filled with all kinds of amazing, transformative breakthroughs in your life. Let's keep climbing higher.